Oh, Pierre, it's good to be back at the racetrack, isn't it? Yeah, no kidding. Listen, mate, do you remember, where did we leave off vis-a-vis who's the number 2 driver? No, see, I remember you being my number 2. What are we going to do, mate? Well, let's just remember that we're a team. We do things my way. Hi guys, I'm Aussie Villain and welcome back finally to Aussie Villain Racing, and today it is the Austrian Grand Prix as we approach the halfway point of our championship season. And I don't know about you, but I completely forget exactly what's been happening in this championship. So let's spend a little bit of time doing a quick review. Now, if we're going to have a look at what we can do between races, we've got a little bit of time here. Do we have enough time, I wonder, to do just about everything here? We might, you know. Now, of course, last race, it was the Canadian Grand Prix, and I had to remember about it, but basically, if I remember correctly, I held up a train of cars that was basically a mile long. So, yeah, you know what we don't want to do? What we probably don't want to do is just help Gasly. If there's going to be a world champion in the team this season, I think I'd like it to be me. So, let's go and have a podium celebration. And Gasly, you can take some time off, mate. Go and enjoy your free time. Now, we've got 16 million in the bank. That's not really enough, is it? Because we need to make sure we can re-sign Gasly mid-season. Yeah, so we can't really afford to do any upgrades just now. Or can we? What can we do over here? No, these are expensive still, aren't they? And that's still upgrading. And marketing is, for whatever reason, I guess marketing is expensive because you gain so much from it, but it just seems a little bit excessive. But anyway, now if we're going to have a look at R&D, now of course we are essentially maxed out. You can see we can do a little bit here on the powertrain. We've got one upgrade on the powertrain that we could do, but it looks like here that is locked. And if we go to durability again, I think there's one upgrade that we can do, but again, that looks as though it's locked. So we're just kind of where we're at until we can upgrade. I'm assuming if we upgrade the factory, that's when those updates will be unlocked for us. But we can see here that we are just about the best car in Formula 1, but Mercedes, Red Bull, Ferrari, AlphaTauri, McLaren, they're all very, very close behind us. We don't have any upgrades coming, obviously, and the progress history we can see there. Mercedes have caught us, Red Bull are about to catch us, and it's all very, very tense indeed. In terms of the engine wear, everything there is acceptable, I think. The gearbox, again, we've got it's halfway through its life, and the corporate side of things, we've got, we must be getting close. We've got to get to level 25 to get that last sponsor, and we're at level 24 just now, so we're getting there. Just not quite there yet. 12 million we need for Gasly. Note to self, that's gone up since didn't we pay 10 million for him last time? Driver market is there. Finances are going to go up because we haven't invested anything. And let's go and have a look at now the standings as a refresher. Verstappen and Perez lead the way. Then it's Gasly and myself. Bottas is just there. It's very much shaping up as AVR versus Red Bull Racing, isn't it? So Gasly and I need to just put out little discrepancies to one side, run down Red Bull, and then hopefully we can decide between us later on who's going to be the actual world champion. But you can see my recent form. I've got a second and a third. I've rebounded well from sort of two of the three races were a bit rough after winning in Bahrain. So I'm in decent form. Gasly, of course, had a really good start. He's gone off a little bit since then. And the trophies, now let's have a look at how we've done previously at Spielberg. We came 8th last season. Previous to that, 7th, and previous to that, 7th. So we're consistent, but it's the sort of track I should be a little bit better at, I think, than maybe I am. Now, we beat, was it Ricciardo in a rivalry? We beat somebody in a rivalry last time. I think we did anyway. Maybe it was Perez. But we'll get a new rivalry for this race. And driver details there. You can see 10 podiums I've had now, which is good. I'm quite proud of that. Average finish of 10th, average start of 12th. We're going to have to improve both of those between now and the end of the season. Only 2 pole positions. But let's go and sim ahead here and get ready for this Austrian Grand Prix. Hopefully nothing goes wrong. With no upgrades coming, so nothing really should be able to go wrong. Big apologies for the extra week wait on this. As I said on the Discord and on I think I left it on the community page as well. I just didn't feel good. I don't know. I tested negative for COVID. Do I want Gasly to have better racecraft? Again, it's selfish of me, but no, I don't.
Not an easy decision. You handled it well.
Yeah, well, we tested negative for COVID, but geez, it felt like I had COVID. I haven't had it before, so I don't have anything to compare it to, but it just felt like that. But feeling better now. Let's go off to Austria and hopefully win a race. Alright, so we've got our weekend preview. You can see the track map there, and the weather forecast is... oh, it's a wet race. It's a wet race, and... well, that could be problematic, couldn't it? It looks as though we've got wet practice as well, so FP2 is going to be important to find a setup for the race. Alright, well, I am going to go and do this free practice. I'm going to hopefully find a wet setup that works, and I'll see you for qualifying. Alright, so free practice is done. I wasn't too concerned about times. I was more, especially in FP2, just worried about getting a setup that works. I think I've done that. In FP3, it was a mixed session, so it started wet, dried out. We did a lap on the softs, the wet setup on the sort of soft tyres, like a qualifying run, and we topped the session. Now, not everybody did a lap on softs, but that's obviously better than not topping the session. So let's go to Q1, and we should be able... I would imagine we're a Q3 car for this race, but we'll find out soon, won't we? Alright, we're coming around. Now, I've just done another hot lap and not quite nailed it. I wouldn't say we're in trouble, but I'm not where I'd like to be in P12, that's for sure. So we'll go again here. This is our third lap on these tyres now. We are a little bit up. And it's very small margins. It's a relatively short track. So very small margins between success and failure. And we should be about, what's that, almost 2/10 up. Now this is the corner that I messed up first time around, of course. Better exit out of there. That felt a little bit better. And now these two. That's a little bit better. And that is better. We can get a little bit more, but a little bit late turning. Oh wow, that is not even close. We've gained time, but have we done it legally? We've stayed P12. Okay, so we've got a decent, almost a second gap to 15th. So this should be okay, but you can see there's not much between the top 12. It's going to be a very close qualifying, but we should have enough to get out. So yeah, we did have enough to get out. Well, I mean, we're 8/10 off Gasly, who topped the session. It is mostly, yeah, it is the usual suspects that have got out. So I've got work to do. I mean, I need to find basically 2/10 on that session to get ourselves out, but we're going to want to be well into the... I thought 103 would be enough. We're going to need to be well into the 102s, almost into the 101s, to get out of this session. Alright, and here we go. Now, of course, a reminder, we're not going to be starting on dry tyres, so we don't have to start the race on whatever set we qualified through on this session. So that helps our cause a little bit, and this is a brand new set of tyres, so that should find us a little bit of time as well. Did all of Q1 on the one set. And gas nice and early if we can. Don't spin up the rears. Now, of course, this is our wet setup. I don't know, I mean, everybody else, I don't know how dominant their wet setup is over their dry setup. So that might be hurting us a little bit right now. I mean, we just don't know, so... oh, it's so hard to judge exactly when to floor it through that corner. That outside curve comes up on you very, very quickly. Alright, let's see if we can finish the lap off here. Oh, turned in too late again. Alright, what have we done? Are we into the 101s? No, we are not. Not enough, is it? We go again. We go again. We hit quite a bit of that inside curve. There's a little bit of a concern that we may have damaged the floor. We'll find out soon, I suppose.
We have 2 laps of fuel remaining.
Good exit. We did do a purple first sector, though. Oh, on the gas early, maybe a little bit too early. We're only just down. Now, if I can do this corner better, there could be time here for us. I turned it a little bit too early that time. And it's kind of stuffed us up. We might even do a faster lap, but I feel a little bit dirty doing that actually, but I'll take it. Alright, fresh tyres. Alright, this is the last bullet in our gun in terms of tyres. We're 9th. Now, Perez is on mediums for some reason, which is ridiculous. He's behind us in 10th. So let's see. No, it doesn't look like we damaged the car on the inside curve there. Another purple sector in the first sector. We're good at that one. We can just link up the other two. Now we are way, way up here. This could be, if we can finish it, a very, very useful lap for us to have in the bank. Oh, we're absolutely smashing this lap. Come on, finish it off, dumbass. Oh. Still on a really good lap. Purple first sector, purple second sector. We turned it in right on cue. And almost stuffed it in the last corner, but not quite. We have lost a lot of time there, though. That's only P6. We'll go again. So we have edged through by 2, what's that? Tenths, hundredths of a second over Lance Stroll. We have got through. We do have a new rival, by the way. That is Sergio Perez. I'm a second off Gasly again, and I'm not quite sure where I'm going to find that second, but let's see if we can in Q3. Okay, so I've gone out and done a banker lap on used set of tyres. You can see, I mean, there's still that second gap, and Perez hasn't gone yet. So it's looking like I'm the 10th fastest car, isn't it? But let's see if we can pull out a miracle on our final run. All right, here we go, onto the straight. Let's see if we are now officially P10th, by the way. P10? P10, you know what I mean. The tyres should be about 3/10 of a second faster. So that should be the time at least that we are faster this lap. I've gone deep on the brakes there again. Which is, needless to say, quite frustrating. But we can't do anything about that now. We are that little bit of time up that we should be up. Would have liked to have thought that maybe I could find a little bit more in myself as well, but right now we are just relying on the tyres, and even then, it's not a great lap. So we're going to have to go again here. I mean, we're slower than we were on the scrub set. That's not great. Come on. I really thought we'd have a good car for this track, but maybe that P7 I've got every other time we've been here is looking good again. Good exit. I didn't go flying deep into the corner that time, so we are up a little bit. Shame I couldn't have done that before we took the edge off our best set of tyres, but there we go. Welcome to Aussie Villain Racing, full of shames and regrets. There's a purple sector. Still slower though. That's way off. I'm tempted to say I just give up here. Well, that is just horribly disappointing, isn't it? A second off the pace. I really did think we had a decent car around here. I just couldn't hook up a lap. Even if I could have, we're maybe talking the difference between 9th and 10th with the time that I was losing. So let's hope the wet weather setup is better, that I can find my way through the first corner, and that we can somehow go and join Gasly and Verstappen and Perez at the front of this field.
It's time to take a look at our starting grid for today's race. Lewis Hamilton lines up on pole position, with Pierre Gasly alongside. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Verstappen, Norris, Sergio Perez, and Bottas, Tsunoda, Ricciardo, Oldtimer, and Lance Stroll, Sainz, Ocon, Christian Lundgaard, and Russell. Latifi, Leclerc, they'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty. Mick Schumacher and Guan Yu Zhou. Schwartzman, Mazepin, Fernando Alonso, they've taken a grid penalty, and Antonio Giovinazzi starts from the back of the grid. And with preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track.
Alright, so a little bit of a bonus in Leclerc taking a penalty, so that moves us up one spot. I think realistically, it looks like it's going to be a wet race all the way through. I think realistically, we just want to try and stay as close as we can to the top of the field, don't we? Not lose as fewer points to the Red Bulls and Gasly as we can, and it might just be one of those damage limitation weeks for us, I think, because, yeah, I really stuffed up qualifying. Hopefully, I can do okay in the wet, though. Alright, here we go for a very, very wet Austrian Grand Prix. Let's hope this setup works. Long hold as well. What sort of start do we get? Oh, we're snaking around. Quite a bit of wheel spin. It looks as though we have also got Stroll on the inside there. It's got a cracking start. Now, if we can just keep our front wing here, just easy does it on the gas. And we look to be in P9 as we come up to the hairpin. Now, this is another corner. Oh, P10 as Stroll. He really did get a good start, didn't he? Down the outside. Can we maybe nick around a cheeky move on Ricciardo as well? And there's a yellow flag behind us. We've got Tsunoda on our inside as we jump off board. And, well, can we get ourselves up to P7 here? We're at the outside of this corner. And late on the brakes. Too late on the brakes. It looks as though Yuki had actually tucked in behind us there. But outbroke myself. So we drop back to P8. Which is not, we've made up a position off the line. Not too bad. See if we can get a good run off this corner. It's very difficult to overtake on the inside there, and we can't quite manage to do that either. And maybe patience is going to be the name of the game here, not sticking my nose in where it doesn't belong, just waiting for the right time and getting moves done. And again, we're very, very quick compared to Tsunoda, it would appear. Now, can we get a good run onto the straight? Hamilton does the fastest lap, as you would expect, on the first lap of the Grand Prix. And let's see if we can sort of settle into a little bit of a rhythm now. Just get back into the habit. It's very, very wet, isn't it? This is probably the wettest I think we've ever raced at. Now, we are going to skip ahead a little bit here to the end of lap 3, beginning of lap 4. You can see we are still stuck behind Tsunoda. We've got a good run, though, onto the main straight here. We've done the fastest lap of the race. Can we stick it up the inside here? We launch it in, back to second gear. And there we go. Good run off the corner. That is indeed now P7. And we've got another 1.5 seconds up the road to Valtteri Bottas now in the first of the Mercedes that we'll catch. We will skip ahead again now to the end of lap 7, beginning of lap 8, and you can see we have caught Bottas.
But be aware, your tyres need to go the distance.
We have still done the fastest lap of the race. Jeff telling us our tyres need to go the distance. And let's see, we've got an okay run out of that first corner, but Bottas looks as though he's just as quick. Can we get a late move on the brake here? We send it up the inside. Can we get it stopped in time? We can. We'll show Bottas the outside curb. And that is P6 as we continue to move forward in this race. Excellent stuff. Not quite halfway through yet as well. So you wonder exactly how far we could get. There's a little bit of a gap between Norris and Verstappen. So that's going to take some catching perhaps. But Hamilton leading Gasly. If we can get Perez so that each of the AVR cars is in front of a Red Bull, then that'll mean we will be pulling points back on them in the constructors. So that's got to be our goal, doesn't it? Really. Let's see on board here. How are we looking against Perez through the fast final 2 corners? I think it's technically 3 corners, isn't it? But yeah, we've gained ground there. We're out of battery on the lap. We've done another fastest lap.
That's a new fastest lap of the race.
So we are the fastest car on track. And Perez, a little bit of a wiggle there for him. Can we take advantage of that? Doesn't look as though we're close enough. That's never stopped me before from having a lunge. I think we are too far back here though, surely, even for me, as we jump off board. And we do actually end up very, very close behind him on the brakes there. But not close enough, obviously, to get a move done. And you can see he's got a better exit as well. It's probably a little bit too late on the brakes there. And the poor exit has cost us any chance of an overtake at the end of the straight. But we're there, aren't we? We're right behind him. It looks as though Norris in front of him is perhaps holding him up. But we can see there is definitely a train of cars behind Hamilton who's in front. So if Hamilton can stay there, maybe he can allow us to pick everybody off one by one. But you know, with P6 right now, we just ideally get ahead of Perez, maybe Norris, and just lose as little points as we can to Verstappen and Gasly, who are ahead of us in the championship. I think Perez is as well right now. We've got a decent exit, just ran out of battery at the wrong time there. Perez covers to the inside. We'll go to to the racing line. We launch it round the outside this time, back to second gear. We've maybe not kept it on track.
Good job.
The game, part of me wishes the game would penalise you for that, but we've got the move done. And it is 1.9 seconds to Lando Norris, who is now in 4th place as we move up to 5th. Looks as though the track may be just drawing out a little bit, which begs the question, is there going to be a need to go to inters at some point? I'm going to almost ruin it and say no, because the pit lane, to go through the pit lane, I don't think it's going to be a case of you're not going to make up enough time to make a stop worthwhile. Inters to wets, I wouldn't have thought. Now, if it got to a point where you could maybe get onto a slick tyre, we might be talking. But it's not going to do that in 8 laps, is it? And the forecast was for rain throughout, so I think you can see the rain sheeting down. But despite that, the track, as I say, does look as though it is drying out a little bit. We've got the gap from to Norris down to just over a second, so we've taken the best part of 8/9 out of him that lap. So that being the case, another lap, we should be right up behind him and looking to make another move as we begin lap 11. There's a little bit more off-board stuff for this race, just because you can see the on-board is not always the easiest to be able to see what's going on with the rain dripping and then spray when you get up close to a car in front. So hopefully that's okay. I tried to show as much on board so you can see the sort of the wiggles and how it's handling, but it is definitely a drier line on the track there, isn't there? But still quite wet, as that gap to Norris now continues to come down to 0.7. Verstappen ahead of him. I mean, he's what, 2 seconds? The time says 2 seconds. Oh, that's to us. That's us to him, isn't it? Not Norris to him to Norris. On this view.
Our gap behind is 2.0 seconds.
So we've got a good run out of there compared to Norris. Let's see if we can maybe set him up through these last 2 corners in for turn 1. A little bit deep in there, wasn't I? Can we get a good exit onto the straight? We a little bit squirrely. Have we got the battery to? No, it cuts out again just before the line. And is that going to cost us as we go off board?
That was the fastest lap of the race. Keep this up.
Fastest lap of the race. And there was no move to be had there, as you can see, but perhaps into the hairpin. We are very close. 0.3 behind. This is surely lunging positions. There it is, up the inside, comfortable as you like. We'll just do a bit of a Bottas and show him the curb as we did to Valtteri. And there we go, that is P4 done. And with 6-7 laps to go, can we get any further up? 1.6 seconds to Verstappen as we step ahead to lap 14. And you can see we are slowly catching up. Hamilton, Gasly, Verstappen, and then ourselves. And it's about half a second. You can see Norris has been dropped 2 seconds back now. He's not quite been able to go at the pace of the front 4 here. But we're sort of doing the same pace as these cars in front. And you can see the track just maybe starting to get a little bit wetter again as well. And with the wets wearing down, I mean, they're not terrible, but they're certainly past their best. It could get a little bit tricky as I get a little bit wide there. But yeah, it could get a little bit tricky if the track is going to, and it is definitely wetter now, isn't it? You can see from the spray. It's going to be a little bit more slippery than it was at the start of the race, but we're right behind Max now. Can we set him up maybe for a move into turn 1 here? I always found I just ran out of battery as we got to the front straight again, and yeah, it was just cutting out the wrong time to sort of lose the momentum into turn 1. And again, we're not quite close enough there. It looks as though I'm all over the shop on the exit as well. And has that ruined a chance for a go in the hairpin? 4 laps to go. Can we get Verstappen? No, we're a little bit too far back there, aren't we? We're closed so far in. Look at that rain now. It is absolutely belting down. Now, are we close enough to Verstappen here? It's very difficult to get a move done into here. The car doesn't quite work from overtaking to that corner anyway. We possibly could have got Tsunoda that first lap, but outside of that, I've not even really been close to getting a move done there. This is a corner we're really, really quick out of. I've just gone a little bit too quick there, though, run wide and then thrown it all away, come into the second part of that complex. And now let's see if we can set Hamilton, Verstappen up for a move into turn 1. If we can get a good run through these two, stay close, not run out of battery on the front straight. Oh, a little bit too much inside curve there, perhaps throws us wide. We get a warning for exceeding track limits. I don't care about that if we can get Verstappen here, though. Are we close enough for a lunge? Not quite. And now let's see if we can get him into the hairpin, perhaps. Are we close enough? We look as though we might be just about close enough. Oh, we know we're probably too far back. And we just stay in line again. Again, we get very, very close to the back. Can we get a good exit now? And maybe the laps are winding down here. We need to get past Verstappen if we're going to move up. And, well, a win would be ambitious from 9th on the grid, but I wouldn't mind getting in front of Gasly, if I'm honest, and just making sure he knows who's number 1 in this team. But you can see we're just all roughly doing the same pace, aren't we, at this point? The tyres continue to wear, the track continues to get wetter and wetter. And at this point, I'm also kind of thinking, just don't stick it in a wall and throw away 4th. It's been a good recovery from an average qualifying. But equally, you know, I can't help myself. If there's a chance,
3 laps of fuel remaining.
I will take it. Oh, we had a chance there. Was it a good enough exit? Verstappen didn't get a great one either. This is as close as we've been. Can we get a little lunge into turn 1? We send it. We get back into second gear. Keep it on track limits, and that is P2. Sorry, it's not. It's P3 with 2 laps to go. Not P2 with 3 laps to go, which would be very nice. But here we go. There's some blue flags there. Now we're coming to overtake. It looks like we are coming up to lap somebody, which I don't think we've seen before, have we? Now, this is a shorter track and a short lap as well. Short lap in terms of lap time. So I'm not sure who it is, but if there was damage at the start of the race, we did see a yellow flag. It's Schwartzman. So if there was damage at the start of the race and a pit stop as well, a slow-in lap, then it's not beyond the realms of possibility that we could catch somebody. Now, is there another lap car up there as well? We've still got blue flags being shown. Now, if they could just walk Hamilton and Gasly for me, that would be brilliant, but it's unlikely, isn't it? Yeah, there's definitely blue flags being shown to somebody. Maybe it's Hamilton getting shown the blue flags. Out of the way, Lewis. Let's see if we can get a good exit compared to Gasly. Now we're close. We are close. Now, what we don't want to do is take ourselves out of second and third here. Can we? Oh, it's late. It's late. It's very late. Gasly sees us coming. And that is P2.
I'm number 1, Pierre, not you.
Right, Pierre.
We have 2 laps of
Now,
fuel
have I
remaining.
given Verstappen a chance behind, perhaps? It looks as though they are side by side. But on the final lap, we have got past Gasly. Now, can we complete an incredible race, an incredible comeback from qualifying, and manage to get ourselves ahead of Hamilton? Now, there's a second. It's unlikely. We're on the last lap. And, I mean, you're looking at where we could maybe do an overtake, and there's not really anybody left on the lap, is there? If he makes a mistake, if he gets, a wiggle or a locked brake or something, maybe we can force ourselves through. But it's just not going to quite happen. I think in the end, the wet weather setup in qualifying, it hurt us in qualifying. I think it has been worth it. We're just going to fall a little bit short in terms of a race win, but that has been a very, very enjoyable race.
Oh, can we just do one more lap? One more lap. Oh, what a race.
Yes, that's a podium. Excellent drive. The team have worked especially hard this weekend, and this is a fantastic reward.
After an excellent performance at the Grand Prix, I'm sure there'll be plenty of celebrations tonight amongst the Mercedes team, and they certainly deserve it.
look, great race for me out there today. Very proud of that. Hopefully, Gasly will now finally accept that he is the number 2 driver in this team. But, you know, ultimately, we're here to win races, so a little bit disappointed to come second. I was kind of hoping at the end there Hamilton might see some blue flags and jump out of the way to be lapped out of habit. Well, that was, I'm going to say, is it the best race that I've had? I'm going to say probably is. From 9th to 2nd, 2 more laps, I reckon. We could have had Hamilton as well. Our fastest lap, we were the only car into the 112s. The setup may not have worked in the dry as I would have liked. It sure as hell worked in the wet, though, didn't it? What a car we had there. So that's excellent. We've come second, fastest lap as well, and we've pulled back a lot of points on Red Bull there, and of course I've pulled back some points on Gasly as well. So Verstappen continues to lead the championship. Both myself and Gasly have jumped Perez though, so that is good. 24 points behind Verstappen now, sorry, so we're within that one race, which I always think is key. He retires, we win, we're top of the championship. Well, that could be Gasly in a weird circumstance, but you know what I mean. We're in the conversation, and that is the main thing. The constructors, well, we've pulled that gap back to 20 points as well, so that is all looking good, isn't it? And Mercedes, they're there or thereabouts, aren't they? But I don't think, well, Hamilton wasn't the fastest car. There was a train behind him, and he was just able to do enough to not get overtaken, it looks like. But there we go. That is the Austrian Grand Prix, a very wet Austrian Grand Prix. That rain was sheeting down, wasn't it? But I've got to say, 9th to 2nd, I'm quite pleased with that. And of course, it means we have taken the lead in early lead in our rivalry with Perez as well. So 6-4 after he ran qualifying. So that's excellent. But yeah, if you have enjoyed that, make sure you hit thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new. I'm frantically trying to remember what the next race is. I'm almost certain it's Silverstone. We didn't race there last year. We are racing there this year. And that is a track that I think I've done okay on in the past. It's got a lot of fast corners. Those are usually the tracks I do better at. So let's hope we can have another strong race weekend, both myself and as a team. And maybe we could be sitting here this time next race, sitting top of both championships. Who knows? Take care.